Hello everyone, welcome to my channel, Kent Botany. My name's Liam Rooney. I'm a Kent-based botanist and I'm hoping to make a series of videos throughout the year highlighting the flora of Kent, some of its specialities, maybe some of its historical flora, some of them points of interest. But I'm out here today because, well, one, it's an absolutely gorgeous day. It's been a long, wet winter. And today, the sun is shining, the sky is blue. I've had to take my hat off and my coat. It's been long awaited. But anyway, I'm here today to look at one particular tree or shrub. This one here, you may have guessed. But on the way here, I've seen primroses, coltsfoot, garden grape hyacinths. Snowdrops are still out. I've seen primroses, tons of sweet violets. It's been absolutely wonderful, and I'm so looking forward to the rest of the year. But as I said, today I'm here to look at this particular tree or shrub. This is cherry plum, Prunus cerasifera, and it's quite abundant here where I live, particularly in hedgerows, along roadsides, and it's one of the earliest trees to flower. It's in the Rosaceae, the rose family. It's very similar to plum, to blackthorn, to cherry, and so, you may be familiar with it, and you may have seen it countless times driving down the road. Perhaps you see this beautiful white blossom early on in the year. Well, this is it, Prunus cerasifera cherry plum. And yeah, we're going to take a closer look at it. Now, as I said, cherry plum is a small tree or shrub. It can grow up to usually about 8 meters. It can grow a lot larger. I think the maximum is about 30 meters, but I've never seen anything quite like that before. Obviously, it flowers early in the year, often late January through February and into March, obviously depending on where you live in the country. As I said, it's an early flowerer, which is really important for early pollinating insects. I don't know if you can see here, but it's actually covered in various insects, various bees, hoverflies, other kinds of insects, especially peacock butterflies. There's been quite a few of those flying around. It's been beautiful to see them. Now, one of the things it's very similar to is Prunus spinosa, the blackthorn. But blackthorn tends to flower later on in the year. It can flower now, around about February, early March, but it tends to flower later. Also with blackthorn, it tends to be a more dense, obviously spiny shrub, often smaller, up to about 4 meters potentially. And as I say, the flowers, they tend to be a bit more off-white, not as bright white as this, and maybe even slightly smaller, but it is distinctly different. And there's various ways of telling blackthorn from cherry plum, and I'm going to demonstrate that in a second. Now, one of the first things to look at with cherry plum is the new growth. It is green and it is hairless. You can see here, it's quite distinctive here. Now with blackthorn, it tends to be brown or grey and usually hairy. And this green, glabrous and shiny look to it is what really sets it apart. However, sometimes it can be actually red and even dark on smaller outgrowths. But really, if you have a look around, sooner or later, you're going to find some good growth like this, which is glabrous, i.e. not hairy, and is green. As you can see, cherry plum has 5 free petals, and it has a single carpel with a single stigma and style, and it is surrounded by numerous stamens. As you can see, the centre there looks pretty green, like a green ring almost. Sometimes it can be quite pinkish. Now, cherry plum flowers actually have a superior ovary, and they have like a bowl-shaped hypanthium. The sepals are quite blunt and they become reflexed. Also, they're fringed with these tiny little like ciliate, almost glandular hairs, and they're quite distinctive. Often they're quite pink tinged around the edges as well. Now, of course, today we'll be looking at the flowers. because it's the right time of year, and of course they are beautiful. But later on in the year, those ovaries will swell to produce a drupe, a fleshy fruit with a stone inside covering the seed. They're quite distinctive, the fruits. I would say they're the size of, I don't know, between a cherry and a plum, would you believe? They're often yellow, sometimes red, and the tree produces them usually prolifically. As you can see, there's plenty of pollinators out today. They are edible, although I don't really know many people who do actually eat them. Often, if they're by the roadside, you see them falling into the road and they get squashed by cars, leaving behind this sticky, quite smelly mess. Now, when blackthorn is in fruit, it's very distinctive and very easy to tell apart from cherry plum. The fruits are smaller, more globose. They're kind of dark, bluey black with this kind of bluish bloom to them. Very distinctive, and as I say, very easy to tell apart from cherry plum when they're in fruit. Now, nature being as wonderful as it is, a hybrid was found between cherry plum and blackthorn in West Kent in 2006, Prunus times similarly. It is rare, but possibly overlooked. I've not knowingly seen it, but it just goes to prove that this is a complex group, and a lot of the prunuses, especially with plums, cherry plums, blackthorn, they can hybridize. But anyway, we want to keep this video quite simple and just enjoy the beauty of the cherry plum. Well, that was a look at cherry plum. I hope you enjoyed the video. Thanks very much for watching, especially if you've made it this far. Just before I go, I wanted to mention there are a couple of garden varieties. There's the Pizard plum, Var Pizardii, which has pale pink flowers, and then there's Var Nigra, which has darker pink, almost red flowers, and usually purplish reddy leaves. Often grown in gardens and parks, and if I see any on the way home, I'll make sure to film them. But anyway, thanks again for watching. I'm hoping to do more of these videos, and if you would like to do those things that YouTubers tend to tell you to do at the end of their videos, like, subscribe, that'd be fantastic. And I say I look forward to making more videos. Cheers. Well, I did manage to find some Pizard plum on the way home, actually growing with some ordinary cherry plum. You can see that it is different, but I don't think the pink really stands out in this video due to the contrast. But that is a Pizard plum there. I think the flowers are slightly larger as well.